Sweden stands at a crossroads in its military aviation strategy. While Norway has moved decisively to replace its troubled NH-90 fleet with the HH-60W Jolly Green II, Sweden already operates 15 UH-60 Mountain Black Hawks, known locally as HKP-16, but now faces a larger question: whether to expand that fleet into a national standard or pursue a new European design for maritime and search and rescue missions. The decision is not just about helicopters. It is about Sweden's industrial identity, NATO integration, and the future of the Nordic defense network. When Sweden bought the UH-60M in 2011, it was an emergency acquisition. The mission was simple: provide a rugged, deployable platform for Swedish troops serving under ISAF in Afghanistan. The procurement was fast, only 18 months from order to delivery, and the aircraft performed flawlessly. After the Afghan withdrawal, the 15 Black Hawks were brought home to Malmen Air Base, integrated into the helicopter wing for domestic transport, medical evacuation, and special forces support. They became some of the most reliable aircraft in the Swedish inventory, with high availability and low maintenance overhead. By contrast, the NH-90, Sweden's designated multi-role platform, HKP-14, has become a case study in frustration. Of the 18 helicopters ordered, only a fraction have reached full operational readiness. 2 configurations, one for tactical transport and another for anti-submarine warfare, have made logistics complex and spare parts unpredictable. Readiness rates have often hovered below 40%. The result has been mounting pressure within the Swedish Armed Forces to rethink the fleet. For missions in the Baltic and Arctic, where cold weather, salt, and endurance matter more than paperwork, an aircraft that is merely technically modern, but rarely available, is of little use. Norway's experience has made Stockholm take notice. In 2022, Oslo canceled its NH-90 contract entirely and later signed a $2.6 billion deal to acquire 9 HH-60W combat rescue helicopters from the United States, along with MH-60R Seahawks for naval operations. The message from Norway is clear: reliability and interoperability with NATO outweigh theoretical multi-role ambitions. The HH-60W's ability to operate in polar conditions, its robust avionics, and its mature supply chain have made it an attractive benchmark for other Nordic air forces. Sweden's operational geography adds complexity. The country must cover vast forests, mountains, and a long Baltic coastline dotted with islands and offshore infrastructure. This diversity demands 2 distinct capabilities: a CSAR or SAR platform for land and mixed coastal operations, and a maritime or ASW helicopter capable of deploying sonar and torpedoes. The current Black Hawk fleet excels in the first role, but lacks the naval adaptations, folding blades, corrosion protection, and sensor integration required for the second. One option is to expand the Black Hawk family into Sweden's full-spectrum solution. Upgrading with additional UH-60M or HH-60W units would standardize training, logistics, and maintenance. The advantages are clear: interoperability with Norway and Finland, access to US and NATO support infrastructure, and immediate improvement in readiness. The downside is dependence on US, crashed supply chains, and the need for a separate maritime fleet. Adapting the Black Hawk for full ASW service would be technically possible but economically questionable, since the MH-60R already fills that niche. A second path would be a European or domestic solution, possibly through Saab's partnership with Leonardo. Candidates include the AW101 for long-range SAR and ASW, or the smaller AW149 or AW169M for utility tasks. This approach preserves industrial sovereignty and creates jobs, but it carries high development costs and long timelines. With Sweden's NATO entry accelerating operational commitments, a purely national helicopter program could take a decade to mature, too slow for immediate readiness needs. A hybrid model appears most realistic. In this scenario, Sweden would expand its Black Hawk fleet to cover domestic, tactical transport, and CSR roles while procuring a limited number of MH-60R Seahawks, or a European equivalent, for naval operations. Saab could handle mission system integration, electronic warfare suites, and maintenance hubs at Linköping, keeping high-value industrial participation within Sweden. This approach mirrors the best of both worlds model that Norway is building: U.S. airframes, Nordic sustainment, and European sensor expertise. The economics support such pragmatism. Life cycle costs for the UH-60 family are well understood, and deliveries can occur within 2 years of order placement. In contrast, restarting or localizing AW101 production would require major investment in tooling, testing, and certification. Moreover, the interoperability argument is compelling. NATO's Combined Air Operations Center in Bodo is increasingly coordinating joint Arctic missions. Shared platforms mean shared training, spare parts, and mission profiles, key factors when response time is measured in minutes over frozen seas. For Sweden's defense industry, the opportunity lies not in reinventing the helicopter, but in shaping its future ecosystem. Saab could become the regional maintenance, repair, and overhaul center for Black Hawk and Seahawk variants, integrating mission avionics tailored to Nordic operations. Sweden's strengths in composites, avionics, and electronic warfare could give its helicopters unique resilience in polar environments. This model, foreign platform, domestic integration, is already succeeding with Sweden's GlobalEye AEW&C program and could extend naturally to rotary wing assets. Looking toward 2030, 3 scenarios emerge. The NATO-ready scenario envisions Sweden standardizing on HH-60W and MH-60R, maximizing interoperability and readiness. The Euro-industrial scenario focuses on AW101 or AW149 under Saab Leonardo collaboration, ensuring autonomy but risking delays. The hybrid scenario, blending American airframes with Swedish systems, balances readiness, cost, and sovereignty, arguably the most aligned with current realities and regional dynamics. Whichever path Stockholm takes, the decision will resonate beyond its borders. The Nordic states are moving rapidly toward a shared defense posture, where assets, fighters, submarines, air defenses, and helicopters must operate interchangeably. Choosing the Black Hawk family as the backbone of that effort would cement Sweden's integration into the northern shield of NATO. Opting for an indigenous or European design would preserve industrial independence, but risk fragmentation at the very moment unity matters most. Sweden's existing UH-60As have already proven their worth. The question now is not whether the Black Hawk can serve Sweden, but whether Sweden will let it become the cornerstone of a new, interoperable Nordic air fleet. In a region where winter never forgives mechanical weakness, and where minutes decide survival, reliability and readiness may outweigh even the proudest ideals of industrial autonomy. The next helicopter Sweden chooses will not only fly over its forests and seas, it will define how firmly the country anchors itself within NATO's northern sky.